Yeah. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. There we go. Just got to make sure I actually went live. Not very professional. Here we go. All right. It's been a while, guys. Bear with me here. Okay, that's misaligned. Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? Get with it. Yeah, there we go. Hey, long time no stream alert. I know, guys. I know. I don't know if YouTube's blackballed us all. I mean, even though they let us back on, I think you have to hit those notification bells, turn them off, back on, whatever the case may be to get the notifications. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I'm assuming you guys can hear me all right. Just want to welcome a few people to the chat. Zach Bennett, Meow Mix, Teneman, Mick88, Condo Grower, Man's Man, Allison, Slacker, Off Thread, Grononymous is in the house, Chronicles is in the house, Hippie VT420, Mischief Mike, Mike's Atomic Skier. What's going on, guys? You got the notification. All right, notifications are working. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Scale that up. No, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's been a while. It's been a while. Oh, man. All right. Well, hey, guys, good to see you. I just had this idea. I was reading through some of the industry news papers and emails and stuff that I get this week, and I just noticed there was a bunch of stuff going on. And I thought it was worthy of a quick stream this evening. It is July 25th, 2018. There's a lot going on, and some of it will shock you. Some of it will scare you. Some of it will downright make you crap your pants. But before we get into the stories, I got three big stories for you guys. We've got this trend, this hype trend. It's not necessarily a horticultural lighting thing, but it is an LED thing. And it's this movement I've seen, this competition, this race to create this Sunlike LED spectra, super high CRI, Sunlike rendition. So I want to talk about a few of those things. I want to talk a little bit about the technology that they're employing and how it's different from the chip on board LEDs that we're currently using in our gardens. Next story, I got a story about Cree. Cree's got a new, it's not a mid power, it's not a high power, it's kind of right in that 5-watt range, the J series. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to talk about the exciting, well, not exciting, it's kind of depressing, it's kind of scary, it's kind of eye-opening what's going on with these tariffs, what's going on with taxes on semiconductors, assemblies versus parts from China, Korea, and other places. So I got all those linked up, and I hope you guys will hang out, and I'll put you up on things. So first story, got a couple events coming up. I'm just checking chat. Do I need a coffee for this? It's 1 a.m. No, Mike, we're going to just get through it quick, man. Just kind of, I wanted to touch base with you all, let you know that I'm still alive. I'm trying to get the channel back and going. It was pretty scary there for a little bit. I had gotten one strike, and then shortly thereafter got another strike. This was back in, I guess it was March, 90 days ago or whatever the case may be. And with 2 strikes on me, the third strike was a channel deletion. So I went through, deleted a bunch of videos, backed them up, deleted a bunch of stuff, and contested the strike. It was actually a live stream that was struck. And after they reviewed my video, they took the strike off. So then I sat with one. About 2 weeks later, got another. So I just kind of felt like, this total feeling, no evidence. Everybody was trying to discern what the best course of action was, from Vader to Dago to Green Gene to Megrower 1, Fagroli, all those guys. And I just felt like it was best just to leave the channel alone, stay quiet, not upload anything, and maybe they would just forget about me. There's billions and billions of hours of content on YouTube, so I felt like the little AI crawlers might forget about little old me with 2 strikes hanging in the wind. So made it the 90 days. Obviously, some channels were restored and rectified, and they revoke your privileges for like 60 or 90 days, whatever the case may be. And now streaming privileges are restored. Hey, what's up, Lim Mass? What's up? Looks like LED Builders in the house. Dizzy Grow's in the house. Raptor Grow is also in the house. And so is the Grow Green Show. What's up? What's going on? Anyway, so it's back. I'm trying to get the channel going, try to put out some more videos, some noob stuff, and some more advanced stuff as well, just to keep everybody stimulated, if you know what I mean. So first, we've got a couple events going down. It is going down in Oregon over the next couple months, August and October. There's a couple cool things going on. Got the Horticultural Lighting Conference coming up here October 9th in Portland, Oregon. This is one that I will be attending. It's a 3-hour drive for me up here in Washington, just north of Seattle. And there's going to be some good stuff going on judging on how good it was last year, I think it's going to be pretty good. But that's a total guess and actually total BS because, well, they haven't, they haven't released the program yet. So they've got the program from last year posted and speakers to be announced. So we're getting a little close here with the Horticulture Lighting Conference, but it's heavily LED centric. And last year they concentrated quite a bit on metrics. They had a big emphasis on horticultural lighting performance and standardized metrics for those lighting systems. And there were some new, I believe it's what's abbreviated ASABI or something like that. It's a metric that takes your efficacy into account, as well as a little bit more of the spectra and some of the spectra outside the traditional PAR range of 400 to 700 nanometers, and tries to account and give credit for far red, infrared, and some of the UV spectra that are in grow lights. So it will be exciting to have an all-encompassing metric that we can judge these lighting products by, so that consumers like yourselves aren't so... some of you are very educated and you can look at any light. I'm not talking to you, but the newer people entering the market, I don't want to see a repeat of, kind of what happened in 2012 and 2013, where it was just all hype marketing. And a lot of imports came in and people got ripped off and they just got a bad taste in their mouth about LEDs in general. So it should be pretty cool. Again, like I said, no program yet, but if it was anything like last year, it should be pretty dope, and I'll be there. The only negative towards last year was at 3 p.m. they had the LED fundamentals course, which was kind of like more of a first day morning kind of gig, if you ask me. Wow, a lot of red in the chat. What's up, guys? Yeah, Mike liked the penetrator video. Thanks, dude. I got it back here. It's a pretty cool light. I'm going to keep working on it and just keep screwing around with it. Cheers, Lim Mass. Hey, Malik. Welcome back, man. Green Screen Jesus. What's up, dude? Doggo. What's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Who else is in here? Chad, Scaregrow, Jack Lee. What's going on? For our next event, we've got the Cannabis Science Conference. And this one, I don't know, I'm kind of torn on this one. This one's got some nuggets in it. August 27th, 29th, that's in like 1 month in Oregon as well, in Portland. And the Cannabis Science Conference is definitely very sciencey. To be completely frank, it's a little bit above my level. I don't want to say beyond my interest, because I'm certainly interested in all aspects of it. But it's we're talking about like real scientists, not closet scientists like me. There was a heavy emphasis on the therapeutic aspects of cannabis, heavy emphasis on laboratory testing, laboratory standards, clean room conditions, THC and terpene testing standards. And there's also a heavy emphasis on the cannabis as a medicine, as like a prescription medicine, especially for pediatric applications. So the Cannabis Science Conference might be a little dry, if you're looking for the, kind of how to grow tips, but certainly some high-level conversations and high-level speakers that are going to be there in Portland in like 1 month. So I don't know. I'm on the fence on it. Could be dope. Probably the one that interests me the most, and this is by far the most layman's topic that's going to be discussed, and it's Steve Ottersberg from Green Lab Solutions, and he'll be discussing single nucleotide polymorphisms as genetic influences of the synthesis of cannabinoids and terpenes in cannabis. So that seems pretty cool. The other stuff, I'll have to go to dictionary.com figure out what it is and what they're talking about. Anyway, okay, so those are the events. Got those out of the way. Into the story. Story number one. So story number one is something I've been noticing actually over the last year. So the traditional chip on board LED or cob that we've been using, the Crees, the Veros, the Luminous, the Citizen, and the others that are generally used in the indoor grow room, are a 450 nanometer royal blue base. It's extremely electrically efficient, and that spectra puts out a ton of energy. The photons that it emits put out a ton of energy. So those are coated with that yellow stuff that you see on the chip. That's why the chip on boards, the cobs are yellow, and those high energy photons excite that phosphor, and it emits a warmer color light based on how much phosphor and the blend of the phosphor that's over it. So 5,000 Kelvin, 4,000, so on and so forth, down to 2,700. Last summer, we saw a company called UG come out with this 500 watt cob that was something like 97 CRI. I mean, this thing was a monster. And after doing a little digging, this company UG, they are a phosphor blending Rembrandt, basically. I mean, they have all these different types of phosphor blends. They can blend phosphor for red, amber, far red, deep red, green, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so what they're doing to produce this high CRI, super realistic sunlight looking cob is they're using a 420-ish nanometer or 400 to 420 nanometer base. So they're going higher energy, lower nanometers, higher energy. So that's how they're getting this excellent rendition. And as far as the actual 500 watt chip on board itself, it's something like about an inch in diameter, the light emitting part of it. So talk about needing a heat sink. I bet you need like a copper rod about 2 feet tall to get the heat away from those LEDs. And the reason I bring it up, the reason it's relevant is that there were 2 new announcements over the last month in this high CRI sunlight replicating space. One was by Luminous, which you all are probably pretty familiar with. I'll bet Chronicles can fill us in about the Luminous. And the other one is by Seoul Semiconductor, which it might not be on the tip of everyone's tongue, but Seoul Semiconductor is who makes the boards that go in Spectrum King's Mother's Little Helper and their closet case. So that's a Seoul Semiconductor board that they package in a heatsink and put the Spectrum King name on it. And from what I understand, they perform great. And the 140 watt versions are performing really well in veg gardens all across the world. So we're going to talk a little bit about those. I just bring UG up because it's something you guys might want to check out. See if there's anything that might apply to you. You go in their products LED phosphors category, you can see all these different types of phosphors, their chemistry. So if you want to impress your friends on the forums, you can read up on YAG LED phosphor, yttrium aluminum garnet LED phosphors. Some of these elements, to be quite honest with you, I don't even know what this is. Lutetium aluminum garnet. So there's some pretty cool stuff here on this site and definitely worth checking out. But what I really wanted to talk to you guys about was this Seoul Semiconductor thing. Seoul Semiconductor, and I'm just actually going to have to copy and paste this. Hold on, just give me a sec. Like I said, Seoul Semiconductor makes some of the boards that are in Spectrum King and other things. They make these AC powered boards. So, doggone it. They make these AC powered boards. So the driver is right on the LED PCB. So you don't need like a separate driver. You just put wall power right into these babies and they're good to go. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, finally, dude. Here we go. I'm gonna have to get Streamlabs or something. OBS is not it's not doing it for me. I haven't used it in a while. So here's Seoul Semiconductor. Like I said, they're making this Sunlight or Sunlike spectrum. And the reason I bring it up, the reason it's relevant is look at the spectrum. Like this is everything we kind of ever talked about in terms of like a nice balanced spectrum. But it comes at a cost. Again, I'm noticing this trend. This is why I'm bringing it up. The base is a violet LED or somewhere in the 420 nanometer range. So I don't know about its electrical efficiency, but it's like 51 lumens per watt. So I know we don't really use lumens a lot when we're talking about plant growth, but just to put that into perspective, something like one of the higher end mid-power diodes, like one of the Samsungs or something, will be in the 160 up to maximum of around 200 lumens per watt. So this is like 25% of that. So we're talking about like, I don't know, maybe 1 micromole per joule or less. We're talking about less efficient or a lower efficacy than like a 400 watt metal halide to get this color. So I think the takeaway here is, yeah, it's really cool. If you have a photography studio, this might be badass for getting those amazing, amazingly lit product photos. But it's just not quite there yet. I think we need some chemistry advances in the sub 450 nanometer category to make these actually work out in the garden. But what's promising about it is that this traditional blue 450 nanometer, kind of dip in cyan, where a lot of the secondary metabolites are where their peaks are located for cannabis, is not present here. So it's a promising technology. So it's like advancement in LED technology can come from all kinds of different angles. It can come from thermal management. It can come from phosphor technology. It can come from the base diode, switching from a 450 to something slightly higher or slightly lower. So don't be discouraged that Cree hasn't never updated the CXB 3590, even though, Jerry at Kingbright told us like 2 years ago that he had samples of some new thing. And like people still ask me, I got comments about it this week, like, hey, when's the new cob from Cree? I don't know. So don't get discouraged when things happen kind of slow in the horticultural LED market. There could be new things on the way. Hey, what's going on, Ed209? You had me at Cree CXB 3590, 3500K. Yeah, I think, I liked the 3500K. It was great, all-purpose, all-around chip on board. For some reason, I'm not saying anything negative about it, but the 3500K seems to have really fallen out of favor. It was right about the time that the bin on those jumped from, I believe it was CD. Golly, I haven't taught cobs in so long. Was it CD was the top bin, and then it went to DB, Delta Bravo? About that time, it seemed like everyone migrated to a 3000 Kelvin across the board, whether it was Cree or Vero or whatever. So I had great success with the 3500s, but generally speaking, I see most people go with 3000 Kelvin. So who knows? Maybe it's just more common. What's going on, guys? We got Bingus in the house. No grow. No grow. Remind me of Fumidor. Oh, hey, Green Jeans in the house. Nichia Optus Solus uses a lower nanometer blue too. Oh, okay, cool. I kind of put a little bit of a clickbait on the Nichia. The only thing I really saw of note over there was their 757, which looks like it's had about a 6% increase in luminous efficacy over the last year. So it's right there neck and neck with some of the Samsungs. And we'll get into that here probably in a few minutes when we go into talking about what's going on with China and what's going on with imports of both aluminum, steel, and semiconductors. And LEDs are semiconductors, so this definitely affects us. It's definitely a little bit scary for, probably for people like Green Jean, like myself, other people in the industry, as well as you, the consumer. Things could potentially get more expensive just when things were starting to get cheaper or more affordable, more for less. So we'll get into that in just a second. Final point, I do want to show off this luminous. What's the plural of luminous? This Luminai. I want to show off this Luminai offering. They're kind of in the same category with their perfect white cob. So hop into that. So this is the perfect white chip on board, and to be honest with you, it's rocking the same CXM prefix that the CXM22, the $19 cob I covered in my last video, has. And so I would assume that these are the 450 nanometer base and maybe something that could be applicable to you. To be honest, I didn't put a tremendous amount of research because I just found this right before I was hitting the live button. But looks like it could be a fairly promising photography cob, or maybe something that would help you fill out your spectrum. But in general, they're most likely going to be a photon loss and a photosynthesis loss chasing spectra. But it could be something that you could be interested in. No Negro, I built my first light, bro, and your knowledge and Gene, bless you. Oh, cheers, man. Appreciate you, bro. Ed209, I bet Grandmas does not even know he is half micro. You're a microbe. That's funny. Hey, John Dill Pickle, what's going on? He experimented with 3K and 4K. 3500 seemed to be the best of both worlds. That's just me. Yeah, there you go, man. There you go. You know, obviously a lot of variables, equatorial heritage, tropical heritage, mountainous heritage. Obviously it's going to depend on your strains, your temperature, all that good stuff. Like I said, a lot of experience with the 3500K, ran them for like 2 years straight pretty much and loved them. Just noticing the trend of people and the shops kind of carrying 3K. And there's been some movement towards 2700K and some other much warmer spectra, but I think there's this kind of cutoff point where you put so much phosphor on the board, on the die, that there's just losses, getting through that much phosphor. Okay, so enough of the stuff that is worth looking at and, probably doesn't apply to you. I want to talk about Cree. Cree's in the news. This may not be, cutting edge brand new, but it's definitely something that piqued my interest, and it's their new J series. And this is not a mid-power package. It's a 5-watt package, and it fits sort of comfortably right in there between the new Samsung, the 301B, that's a 3 mil by 3 mil, and like the MHD 7 millimeter by 7 millimeter package that Spectrum King uses in their larger, SK600, SK602. This is a 5 mil by 5 mil package, and it's available in several different voltages. Its drive currents are sort of in that range of the mid powers, like the Samsung. We're seeing 100, 200, 400 milliamp drive current. So this is definitely something that would need to be mounted on a circuit board in parallel, so that, if you were going to try to handle 2 amps on this thing with a 2 amp driver, you definitely need like 10 of them, 5 to 10 in parallel, depending on the voltage. The noteworthy thing about this package, it's, like I said, 5-watt class, available 9-watt, 12-watt, 24-watt, 9 volt, 12, 24, 36 volt, kind of some of those standard voltage packages. But I'm a little bit confused with this thing because some of the typical voltages are like 12.3 volts, 24.5 volts. And so, when a 48 volt drive system, like for UL listing, if you're 48 volts and under, it's just easier to get listed and certified. Some of their voltages, forward voltages, kind of exceed this nice, clean, divisible by 12 sort of thing. So it's like if you're using a Meanwell type of driver, 48 volt driver or whatever it is, you're not gonna be able to fit clean numbers of this package on a 48 volt. You'd have to go up to like a 54 volt. It's kind of this weird in between, unless you're doing like a 36 volt type of setup, which seems to have also fallen out of favor for the 45, 48, and 50 volt packages. But it is noteworthy. They are clocking in around 170, 180 lumens per watt on the 4K and about 155 lumens per watt on the 3000K. And what you need to keep in mind about like lumens per watt, that obviously values green light pretty heavily. So the efficacy, and the power range could be more impressive for the 3K. We would just have to see if somebody puts a light engine in a sphere on this baby. Please tell us this stream will be saved. Yeah, sure, John Pickle. I can save it. What's up, J-Rock? What's going on? What's up, Nico's Garden Reserve? LED has that Mass Medical supplement light kit for cobs. Did you check it for color? No, but I absolutely will now that I know where to look at it. People ask me to look at things all the time, but unfortunately YouTube, they put you in spam when you try to link something up. Probably just due to all the rampant spammers, but the easier something is for me to click and look at, the more likely I will be able to do it in a timely manner and then offer some feedback and stuff like that. But the J series looks pretty cool. I haven't done an in-depth comparison between this and the MHD, which is like the Spectrum King diode. And this is the second time on this stream I talked about Spectrum King, but they are noteworthy because they had the 602 come out. They had a price drop on some of the older models, and then the 602 is boasting an efficacy right in that 2 micromole per joule range, which is a nice step up for them. And, I think that's good. I think that's good for a company that was putting out stuff that was possibly a little bit overhyped and didn't have the oomph, because they were using a 4K base, and I believe they still are, to be kind of coming up in the game, getting a little better efficacy, and I think that's cool. And I think that maybe, investigating this package, you might be able to fit more of them on the board and increase it even more. Maybe we can get those guys to stop clinging onto this 4K, just for Spectrum. But that's their business. Anyway, final story, the big story, really, I should say, is these tariffs. Okay. Now, this is nothing new. This news came out in March of this year. And I will put all these links so that you can read up on them and see what the implications might be to you, to LED grow lights in general, to the DIY hobby, etc. Can't tell if I'm getting cut off. I don't know if I'm getting cut off here or not. I think you can see the whole thing. Anyway, Section 232, tariffs on aluminum and steel. That's right, aluminum and steel. Gabriel Nova, greetings from Uruguay. I was watching the new Chilled 125. Is there any driver to feed it? Oh, yeah, Gabriel, we had to get that video out on the Chilled channel because we started selling the PCBs again for people to solder themselves and drop the price, so I wouldn't have to be up at night soldering, so I could stream and stuff. And we needed to have that instructional video out ASAP. So we put that out. The drivers will be here next week. We'll have a whole host, hundreds of drivers that are all connected up. And we're trying to match the price of other retailers like Rapid LED online. We can't always match online components, dude. Sometimes those guys are just like 15% above cost on Meanwells, probably because of their volume. But we're going to try to match the people in the hobby with the connectors. I got power cords ready to go. The goal there, with Chilled and Chilled Drive and Chilled Connect and everything like that, is just to make a safe system that people can just plug and play, and it's good to go. Reason being, I'll tell you the reason being. And Tim, I don't know if you're watching, dude. Where is this photograph? I'm going to show you guys a photograph. And Tim, I apologize, but we see stuff like this, and it scares us. We see I see some pretty funky setups. Let's just put it that way. And I don't mean any disrespect to this person, this customer. Sincerely appreciate the business and you're interested in the hobby, but when we see this kind of thing, that's kind of why we pulled out of DIY for a while, because through no fault of our own, we were sending out product and people were struggling. So now we have this fully connectorized system. You can pay more and I'll solder it for you, or you can solder it yourself, and we can avoid, wire nuts and things like that. That could be a fire hazard. I don't want this company's name, attached to fires. Although one guy in Australia did have a fire. It wasn't our fault, but it was sad to see stuff that I've built, I nurtured with my own two hands. I suckled it off my teat and then sent it there, and then this guy's barn caught on fire, caught his house on fire, and it's like thousands of dollars worth of Chilled grow lights that are all freaking burnt up. But yeah, I probably shouldn't even be streaming. I should be making videos for the Chilled channel with Drive and everything, but I don't know. I just wanted to just kind of get with you guys, see what's up. We got some of the same, people in the house that were in the house 6 months ago when I kind of stopped making videos. So, yeah, dude. Anyway, so basically back in March, there's a bunch of drama going on in politics, and I don't discuss politics on this channel because it's not relevant to the subject matter of this channel until it is. We had seen very stable prices on aluminum all throughout 2016. And even to 2017, prices were stable. They didn't necessarily drop, but they were definitely stable. A lot of our aluminum, most of our aluminum, especially extrusions, cold forged things, and really honestly, a lot of machined aluminum comes from China, some from Korea, etc., South Korea. But in March, due to political turmoil and the tumultuous nature of the change of power to a new president, et cetera, we saw these duties, and the duties came in, and that's when I personally saw it, kind of propagating into the retail sector and into the wholesale sector. Now, when you get stuff from China, something like this, it's kind of starts out as a blip, and we saw it as a blip. Okay, Mike, I'll keep going now that you got coffee. We'll stop close. Closest kind LED, maybe. Gotta talk new shop. Yeah, no, grow. We definitely need to school you up on the game. Golly, when someone, it kind of makes me cringe when someone references kind LED in the context of anything good. Watch my last video. I don't mean any disrespect, no grow, but watch my last video, dude. Kind LED is one of the many Chinese Epistar hawkers. It's just Epistars in a nice powder coated case with some slightly thicker heat sinks. So it's okay. It's not that great. But anyway, so back to the subject at hand. Section 232 tariffs. So we saw some movement on this in March. We saw prices kind of go up. We saw a lot of retailers, especially I noticed here, a local retailer, Everett Steel, they just kind of bumped up prices just because, they had a lot of inventory that they obviously purchased before these tariffs, but they just kind of bumped up prices. And I saw a pretty dramatic price increase. We're talking about 15%, 18% on the retail level. Well, now June 1st, more tariffs have come in on Argentina, I believe Brazil, South Korea, other areas. And there's going to be another potentially big hit in July at the end of this month. And I'm gonna move over to the BBC article on this in just a moment. I'm just juggling a few screens, and it's got a nice sort of infographic on what you can expect. Obviously, LED grow lights, they tend to use a lot of aluminum for heat sinks, cases, et cetera. And so this could make things more expensive just when things are starting to get a little bit cheaper. You know what I mean? So it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. Here we go. Back to my thingy, my cheat sheet. Let me just find this BBC article. Here we go. While I'm at it, let me just open this one. Okay, here we go. So it's not just aluminum, it's also semiconductors like LEDs and other parts that come from China. As many of you may know, the Korean company Samsung, phone maker, LED maker, manufactures a lot of their diodes in China, and the diodes could be getting a 25% import tax on them. Now, when it comes to sub-assemblies like finished goods like light engines and things like that, that would only be 10%. But I'm gonna link all this stuff in the playback for you guys. You can read it and check it out and everything like that. But the takeaway here is this graph right here. March 23rd is when all this crap took effect. We've seen it go on through April, big bump June 18th. And here at the end of July, we could see another little bump up in these tariffs, culminating with this massive 25% tax in August. And that is very, very scary. So I guess what I'm saying is if you're shopping for an LED grow light and you're pretty damn close to getting it, you probably want to get it before August, because anything could happen. Anything could happen. I know how it is to get your heart set on something and you get super close and it goes out of stock, right? Or you get super close and something changes, you can't get it. So yeah, if you're getting pretty close, definitely want to pick it up. And as far as your DIY people out there, if you have a big project coming up where you're going to be building a bunch of frames out of angled aluminum, you might want to go ahead and buy some links of that from your local metal supplier. If you're the type of person that's building a lot of these things, definitely go to a local metal supplier instead of Lowe's. I recently, I'm working on some little projects and prototypes around here. And I recently went to a place called Everett Steel, who had been extremely fair in the past. And I bought 37 pounds of aluminum. And it cost me, before tax, $167. Just to give you all a frame of reference, I can buy scrap aluminum for about $2 a pound or less. It used to be $1.20. Then it went up to $1.60 for aluminum scrap. Now, $1.80, $2, depending on if you know the guy, if you're a bro or not. So to pay something like, $6 a pound for aluminum at a legitimate metal yard. Now, I have a feeling that Everett Steel in Everett, Washington gave me the old, unlubed, if you know what I mean. The chick that was in this little office, it was hot. It's hot here, dude. I'm sweating. There's no AC here. I don't have AC anywhere. So it was hot. She probably just got back from the tanning salon. I could smell the cocoa stuff all over her body. And it was 5 minutes till close. And I think I don't want to say the R word here. I don't know how sensitive YouTube is these days, but let's just say that she made an intercourse to my wallet dry with no lube. And I was shocked, dude. Like it was actually Everett Steel in Everett, Washington was more expensive than Home Depot. We're talking $26 for a 16-foot stick of 1 inch by 1 inch angle, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just for those of you that don't know how people are charged for imports from China, the size and shape and everything of the extrusion doesn't matter. It's all by weight. So you can order stock profiles that they have an extrusion die for, or you can pay a couple $1,000s, sometimes more, to have your own custom extrusion die for like a cool heat sink. And then they extrude it for you in China in big, long lengths. They chop it down, machine it. There's the machining costs, and then you just buy it by the pound, by the container, the pallet, or whatever that is. So the shape should not matter on the price of aluminum, just period. It's just, especially not on stock. So yeah, it's scary. And I got scared last week, and that's why this is relevant. That's why I'm spending so much time talking about it. This isn't a scare tactic or a shocker. Who knows? It might just go away. Saner heads in our political structure might prevail, and everything might just go back to normal. But it's been so tumultuous and just so unpredictable, here in this current political climate, that I just like, if I find a good deal, I'm going to stock up. I can personally vouch for onlinemetals.com. They have some very fair prices. I cross-referenced everything I bought. And man, Online Metals is actually in South Seattle. So they don't have walk-in, but they have will call. So I could have ordered everything online in exact sizes that I needed. And I could have walked in there and picked it up and saved about 20% because I got violated sexually in the wallet by Everett Steel in Everett, Washington. Don't go there. If they even just lose 5 customers from however many people will see this stream, don't go there. Everett Steel, dude. They're doing that thing where it's like, this happened to me back when I was doing custom aquariums. I used to fabricate acrylic enclosures for paludariums, reptile terrariums, custom sumps for saltwater fish tanks. And there was you probably remember back in the, post 9/11 where there was like a fuel crisis. Fuel was going up like $4 a gallon. Well, that's, the petroleum industry and acrylics and plastics are closely tied together. So these plastic suppliers just started upping prices like the week after, obviously the tragic event. And it was like, back then it didn't feel good. It's like, you bought all this stuff like months ago at this price and you're just going to arbitrarily hike it up because of this loom and doom. And yeah, man, that's what's up. Mike's, she saw the penetrator fit and she penetrated your wallet with some non-lubed metal. Yeah, dude, definitely she did not have a deburring tool either. It was like, yeah, no bueno. How's your Viking neighbors aluminum stock holding? The neighbors next door are cool. The main guy over there and I, we're cool. The owner, he started a new location, and so he's kind of out of pocket most of the time. So it's kind of hard for me to get the ultra bro deals because the owner's not there. So yeah, I keep my eye on it. I've got more of that aircraft aluminum stuff, the honeycomb. It is got to be the world's worst thermal dissipator. It's like this honeycomb foil material with sandwiched into 2 flat sheets of aluminum. It just holds the heat in. I tried building a Bridgelux EB strip for a photography light, for a studio light, and the thing gets 70C, and there's only like 70 watts on this 2 square foot panel. It's bad. But for structural stuff, dude, you could build like a go-kart out of this stuff. It's pretty structural. Organic Heads LED. Yo, Grow Mouse, missed your amazing sexual LED comments. They get me through the day. I am so glad that gets you through the day, bro. I really am, man. Sea tanks are spendy. Sea tanks. That's funny, dude. Yeah, no doubt. They're spendy. Bingus had 4 100-gallon tanks made for a seafood market back when you used to own it. Oh, wow, dude. That's crazy. See, I got so flippin' tired of smelling like fish. I used to clean fish tanks for a living, which kind of understates the the business that I used to own and operate, we were like a high-end aquarium designer. You know, we would go in, design all the plumbing and electrical, kind of like for grow rooms, but for big fish tanks and everything like that. But then, you know, you'd have to maintain them. And my background is in marine science and marine biology, and just the smell of like protein skimmer and algae and dead snail and just stuff like that every day on your forearms, because it like gets in your hairs and in, you know, like the salt crust on every black shirt I had, just salt crust. I just couldn't do it anymore, dude. So then I started growing cannabis full time, and that's when I started this channel, is like to try to like get me away from that industry that I used to love. But then I just got so jaded to the point of like I even started to hate the animals, because it was just so, when you have living beings that are 100% reliant on you for their existence, and you're the only person when a power outage happens or when the client runs out of food and it's all on you, you become a prisoner. And my life was pretty miserable. And then I discovered LEDs and life got a lot better. Anywho, Shadonk's in the house. What's up, Shadonk? Good to see you. Used to have reef tanks too. Protein skimmers sure do stink. I almost got to the point where I kind of liked it. All the big guys like Fluence and Progrotech import their lights from Korea. Well, actually, manager, I don't know. And I really don't want to talk out of turn here, because I work for a competing LED company. If I say something that's not accurate, it could be slanderous or whatever. I know that Progrotech has facilities in Arizona and a warehouse here in Seattle. And I know that they do have partners that are based out of Korea. But to my knowledge, I mean, they are using genuine mean wells. They're getting some work done here. I don't know if assembly happens here or if assembly happens over there in Korea. I'm not sure. I don't have any evidence, but I know because I've physically touched and felt the Progro that it's a quality product. But it is a 700 watt light for $2,200. So it's definitely dollar for watt and dollar for micromole, one of the higher end, second only to Sunlight, which was the name I was trying to figure out the other day, and I couldn't. It was on Everest Fernandez's channel. To my knowledge, these guys are pumping out some of the most efficient ones, possibly the most efficient in the world right now. And the one that they were quoting, 2.7 micromoles per joule system, had a green diode in it, which is like really, really surprising to me, because every green diode that I look at is like 25% electrically efficient. So just including one or two of those, it's kind of like on our chilled, we include a couple UVAs, and we get crushed in the efficacy department just because we have 2 or 4 UVAs on the board, soaking up voltage, and it's outside the par range just slightly, but that's an efficacy loss. So efficacy isn't everything. There are inherent qualities of the lights, thermal management, control features, so micromole per dollar, or how many dollars you have to spend to get so many micromoles is incredibly important, and is probably the best starting point as far as a metric to figure out if a light is worth it, right? Because you're spending dollars and you need to get something that makes plants grow, which is photons. So, but there are many, many factors beyond that to consider. So where to buy contact luminaires? Which one should I click on? Which one was the one Everest had? Here we go. Yeah, Sunlight. So this is an Austrian company, and they are saying module efficacy of 2.9 micromoles per joule. Holy effing S, dude. I'm trying to not cuss on this channel, because like they're super sensitive on YouTube, man. I get like 2 emails after the stream because I was showing off my phallic shaped 3D prints and my phallic shaped ice cube tray out of flexible filament. I'm pretty proud of. I've been making these ice cubes and sticking them in people's strings when they're not looking. It's a nice big, I'm a child. Anyway, holy crap. So this is live. This is real. This is happening. Are they really quoting 2.9 micromoles? Okay. Yeah, I have seen this. I believe this is that 140 watt light that costs over $1,000. This is about $8 a watt, which is about 4 times more expensive than Progrotech or us or Fluence or, whoever. So, yeah, dope tech, mad props, and respect to what these guys are doing. Oh, dude, no wonder. It's a red light with a couple. Okay, no wonder. Here's the. I mean, not taking anything away from them, but we've seen the same thing in PL lighting. You're probably familiar with their HID offerings. PL offers this all red greenhouse strip. We actually own one. It's built like crap. No offense. Like, I'm not trying to hate on everybody, but like, you pull this thing out, it's all silicone together, right? You pull out this thin piece of metal, all the drivers, everything's just cable tied onto a piece of metal that kind of slides in it. And the thing's permanently glued together with silicone. So if you have one diode out, the whole fixture, you basically have to break the glass out. And it's like 2.7, but it's all red. So this is predominantly like red and deep red diodes, which, I mean, there's 3 micromole deep reds out there all day if you want to run them 350 milliamps. And that looks like what's happening here. So with only 140 watts worth of consumption, you charge enough money, you can run them at 100 milliamps if you want. There's diminishing returns, but still incredibly impressive. And I keep my eye on these guys on Instagram to see if they have a cool idea I can steal at some point. You know what I'm saying? See if they got anything good. Maybe I'll order one someday. Anyway, yeah, Sunlike, Austrians. This one actually looked kind of cool for small rooms. This might be the kind of thing that kind of light engine that it's only 30 watts, but 70 micromoles per second. So that's, hold on, let's figure that out. I like, this is like 2.56 micromoles. So you could definitely add something like this to your small garden. It's only 30 watts though. I don't know how far you're going to get with that unless it's a food crop or a microgreen or something. But the important thing is that there's people out there innovating in other areas of the world. And there's people that are like this company that's like really promoting the science and backing up, what they're saying. Like, it's not like kind of spectrum, kind of yield. It's like, hey, here's our lab report. Here's our data sheets. Really clean site. So definitely some good stuff. Let's see. Thumbs down if it's almost all red LED. Well, that's interesting, Miko, because a lot of people contact me all the time and just order like one chilled board just to add reds because they're like, well, I was gonna add reds to my old Cobb build or to my Samsung board or Quantum board build or whatever, and I'm looking at all these different reds. Do I buy these strips? They're $100 for 30 watts, or do I solder a bunch of stars? And by the time they do the math, and they're gonna buy like 30 or 40 stars at $3 each, it's $120. Plus, you gotta mount them either with permanent epoxy or drill 2 holes per star, and then you're soldering like 60 connections. So we sell a ton of like just one board to people, and they put it right in the middle just to get red color because it's so rich in red. But yeah, I mean, I think there's value to red. I think when I saw my game really step up is when I started experimenting with the different colors, like Canopy 10, Canopy 12, Quantum Canopy. And that's kind of when I started my journey into just seeing if there's something else out there. But I think that assumes that like you've got some pretty good efficient lighting and you're hitting those base numbers as far as photosynthetic rate, and white is the best way to get you there. But once you reach, once you've been chasing the dragon and you feel like you've reached that high that you can't get any higher, that's when you start adding some color and some UV and some other stuff in the mix. Stabby McStabwood, thanks for coming back again, dude. Hope you upload this one so I can catch the playback late my side of the country and pull an OT in the morning. Whoo, well, you better get to work, son. For you, Stabby McStabwood, I will absolutely upload this. I have my settings set to immediately archive in case I say something really dumb and I have to not, I don't want to have that matzo ball hanging out there. You know what I mean? So like, but once it ends, don't freak out. I'll go in, I'll put these links, and we'll let it rip. Although I was kind of planning for a little bit more professional stream, but I don't know if I'm transmitting in stereo or mono. I usually like to monitor how my voice sounds as I'm talking. I can't do that because it's got a few millisecond delay, which is like really jarring. And then obviously OBS I haven't used in 6 months. So it's changed. It's a whole new interface. And I'm thinking about trying out Streamlabs or something else. But yeah, I'm definitely, yeah. What else we got going on? Quality matters. Adding 660 nanometer reds and eliminating far reds will obligate the plant to produce more trikes if you add UVB. Cool. Love to see some evidence of that. You're getting old. Yeah, I am getting old, man. Like you could probably see my forehead and my eyes, and it's hot. It's 84 in here. We just don't have AC, man. It doesn't get that hot typically, and when it does, it's pretty miserable. That's why I'm here. I don't know. I should crack the windows. Actually, I had the window and the fan going, but the fan was kind of blowing right at the mic. What's up, Hankel? How's it going, dude? Great stream, but we missed the helmet. Dude, I could not imagine wearing the helmet right now at 84. This wouldn't be happening right now. Like, if I was still in Texas and had to disguise my identity, the stream wouldn't be happening. Of course, there I had so much AC. It was crazy, but put a mini split in. Yeah, I know, Shadonk. It's like, it's kind of like when you have to pee and you're on a road trip, right? But you're pretty flipping close to home. So you're like, I really have to pee, but I'm so close. I'll hold it. And then it gets worse, but then you're closer, but then it gets worse. And it's like, dude, I wish I would have stopped back here and before I got into southern Idaho and just peed, and then I could have gone along my merry way. But it stinks so bad in southern Idaho, and you just don't want to stop. And that is a parable for, I don't know how many more hot days there are, so I don't want to drop like 2 G's on like a quick fix when we really could get a big system. And, this is a 3-story facility here, and I don't want to have just one cool room. We do shipping and packaging on the 2nd floor, and that room is like a heat sandwich, dude. Since you know time to grow, you stuck with dispensary cannabis? Yeah, and that's the funny thing, Hi Wally. I don't even like to smoke flower anymore. I just buy concentrates because they have good flavor, generally, even if they're not great. And you really have to read the fine print. I mean, everything's labeled, but, I don't really have any problems with spinosad, and I don't have any problems with neem oil. But if it's on my packaging and I can see it, that there's trace quantities in there, I'm probably not going to buy that. You know what I mean? But the flower, there's some great flower around here, but I don't really smoke just to smoke. I smoke to enjoy the craft and the love and the art that was kind of put into the flower. So I would smoke, I don't want to name his name, but a friend shipped me some stuff that I ran out of months ago. But I would smoke his because it's like, okay, I've seen this. I know where it comes from. So part of my enjoyment of the consumption of flowers is knowing the artist, the grower, or growing it myself, and that sense of pride when you consume your own medicine. So I just have a pretty lame little e-nail, the tiny little thing, and then I have a little kind of dab pen, vape pen that's right next to my bed in a 3D printed holder. It's upstairs, but it's cool. It's 3D printer holder. It holds 3 little kind of concentrate containers, and then it sits upright because you're not supposed to put those pens sideways. It's pretty cool. Right next to my bed. Stinky Ledank, you're in Washington? Cool. So am I, man. That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool state. Cool state. Definitely the women are way more attractive on average in Texas than here. Let's put it that way. There's some great looking women out here. They seem to all be married and stuff like that. But dude, there's just some box trolls out here, dude. It's the only thing I don't like about the state. I can live with the rain. I think something about wearing a sweater for 9 months out of the year. Anyway, so all the guys running CXB 3590 don't need to rush out for all this new tech. No, no. Toby Tanner asks, if you have CXB 3590, should you rush out and buy a bunch of new stuff? Probably not, Actually, hey, I should probably say yes, because it would be directly, benefit where I work and everything. But no, man, CXB 3590 is fantastic. I still have a bunch of them. Am I selling them? No, they're totally usable. Totally amazing. And if you have them, uh, no, don't, what's the point, right? But if you're buying new tech, and the prices are comparable, not dollar per watt, because that metric doesn't work when you're comparing a 2-year-old technology with today's technology. You have to look at micromoles per dollar or dollars per micromole and do some calculations and see if that new board or that new fixture beats out the 3590. And if you're buying new stuff, then yeah, buy the new stuff, right? It's the same thing. This is nothing revolutionary. It's analogous to computers. If you're making videos and your computer edits just fine, do you need to go buy the new, the latest Intel i9 or the latest Ryzen Threadripper? Nah, your stuff is ripping video just fine. But when you notice your buddy is like, he's out pumping out 2 videos at a time because he renders so much faster, his workflow is better, then maybe you cash in your old i3 Intel processor for something better. Same thing. But if you are going to buy something, you should either go to Rapid LED or chillgrowlights.com and buy my mouse hook. It's amazing. It's the Samsung LM561 white diodes with the 660 reds on the board. It's right there on the board, which I think is pretty cool because it fits the standard Cobb heatsink. So now it's like upgrading to new tech doesn't mean you got to trash the Cobb and the heatsink and the frame and build some new thing to accommodate a square board. It just goes right on the board. And it's got the 660 reds. That's how you get the double bubble, That's what you want. Anyway, where should we look for LED UVB? Platinum cultivation, I am going to wait until I attend this horticultural lighting conference. There's a specific panel on UV. I had pretty bad experiences with UVB, but I didn't run it right. Clearly, I ran it twice. I had better results with the reptile bulb, the Reptis Sun. But here's what I realized. The fine print doesn't tell you. It says UVB right on there. It's a 90% like UVA spectra with only about 10% of the spectra being UVB. And so I attributed my results in the past, like 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago when I had these Reptis Suns to, oh, dude, UVB grows fire. When I got the like true UVB, they actually call them true UV, and they are from... I just threw out their stickers. I was throwing out stickers, not Grower's House. It's a true UV bulb. True UVB. It's a T5. It is by HTG Supply. Here we go. Dude, this bulb's kind of dangerous, man. This will F your S up. We're talking like, I ran this thing, started at 5 minutes a day, went to like 15 minutes a day. It basically finished the top 6 inches of my plants like a week before the rest. So you kind of have to like do a staggered harvest. This is so much UVB. So it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like, I sort of kind of cringe when people make these statements about UVB, and many times, I'm not saying you, but many times people that make these strong statements reference this Reptis Sun or some other board that's predominantly UVA with a small amount of UVB. Now, I know you asked about UVB diodes. Look, have a good time, whatever. The most cost-effective one that I saw 6 months ago was the Nichia. It was at one time $110 for a 3-watt UVB diode. I believe they've come down in price to half, but that's still $60 for a 3-watt diode. Run the math on that. That's $20 a watt. Is that a good allocation of your funds just so your UVB can be LED? Let's put aside for a second the argument that UVA or UVB is better. Let's just agree that you want to move forward adding some UVB. Is it worth it to spend $20 a watt just so it can be LED? Just stick with the T5 if you're headstrong on it, and if you want to go pure UVB or very, very high percentage, this is the bulb for you. I will tell you though, protect your eyes, protect your forearms, and run this thing. I'm talking like turn it on for like 1 to 2 minutes a day and run that for a couple days and really step it up. Anyone in chat have experience with this bulb? This this is a hardcore bulb. I would imagine you could probably tan yourself. I could take this over to Everett Steel, and that girl that smelled of all that coconut tanning lotion that, violated my wallet on the pricing, I could put this in her little trailer, and, then she doesn't have to be so moody because she has to go out to tan on her lunch break. She could tan with this. I mean, maybe I get better aluminum prices. I wouldn't be so worried about these tariffs. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Elucid X, what's up, man? It's great to see you, dude. Grandmaster level, invite Growmouse on your show. He has invited me several times, actually. And in fact, I just recently was checking through my Instagram messages and missed one from Grandmaster level. In fact, to be honest, I've missed messages from a lot of you all on Instagram. It's very run and gun here. I have 2 new employees that I thought would reduce my workload, and they've actually increased my workload because they're not quite up to speed yet. So, they need that holding, loving, tender holding hand. So now I have all my workload plus keeping them on task and checking over their work and everything. So I don't even pick up my phone in the day. I put it on the dock, and by 6, 7 o'clock at night, 13 hours later, I pick it up. See, if my mom texts, I'll text her back. But anybody else, just going to have to wait. No offense, but Instagram messages just can't handle it, man. I can't handle it. Too many email accounts between work and my personal and family that I just can't handle Instagram. Maybe if they had a web interface, then I could get on there, because I type like a jillion words a minute. But with these thumbs, dude, it's my Achilles heel, I don't think I'm important or cool. It's just these thumbs inhibit me. See, I have to henpeck. So you want to message me on IG, dude, and there's going to be some typos. It's going to be a lot of the word ducking. I just can't. I can't do it, dude. Great at Nintendo and Thumb Wars. Bad at IG messages. How do you feel about the Amer Solar Eclipse SE500? They copied the design. No, actually, I copied their design. Thanks for sticking up for me, Green Screen Jesus, but I absolutely blatantly copied the Amer design. And in fact, technically, we both copied the California Lightworks Solar Storm from back in the day. To my knowledge, that was the first commercially available LED fixture with T5 pontoons on the outside. So I have nothing bad to say about Amer, but it's kind of becoming a dinosaur. There are just so many more promising technologies, and their price point was never particularly aggressive. So we're still talking about, $2 to $2.50 per watt. Now they did go from the CXA to the CXB like a year or 2 ago. It was a little late, and no offense if anyone from Amer is watching, respect. You guys have game. I love your design, and your light is beautiful. I have never seen the internals, so I don't know what the thermal management's like. I don't know what the drivers are like. I don't know what the features are like. But the assumption is that they're running CXB 3590. Congratulations, welcome to 2016. No offense, love the 3590, but when you're commanding that high end price and your tech's 2 years old, and they switched to, I believe it was the XPEHEs for the Reds, some Crees and stuff. So very respectable. But what's the price, and how much are you going to spend on that versus some newer tech? That's just my personal opinion. But no, it's all good, Green Screen, dude. I appreciate you, bro. What do you mean about the LED tariff? Oh, yes, the LED tariff. So I actually never flipping covered that. Let me go to the BBC article on that very quickly. Where are you at, bro? BBC? See, I got all out of order. Maybe it was at the bottom of here. There was a note on here about a minimum of 10%, but potentially up to 25% tariff on semiconductors and other electronics. And if I could just simply find the BBC article, I could reference that and show you that. Here we go. Not CSNBC. Yeah. Not that the BBC is much better, but I don't know. I don't really trust a lot of our American news sources, if you know what I mean. Okay, let me go down to the part where it shows the graph and talks about the semiconductors. And LEDs are semiconductors, so that's pretty scary. There was a hover over. Well, I can't find it because I'm out of order, dude. My bad on that. But yeah, so basically what our supplier, okay, so here at Chiltech, we use Samsungs, the 561s and some other ones. And we just got a message from our supplier weeks ago, our distributor, that said, hey, I need to close out your account. You know, we're on like a net 30 payment thing. He says, I need to close out your account now so we can avoid this tariff that's going to be coming in for 10%. And so we only paid the supplier, everything's hunky dory. And he said, if you have any bulk orders that you need to place, let's place them now, pay for them now, and all that stuff in the event that this 25% tariff gets imposed in August. That would be on bare LED chips, because Samsung, a Korean company, gets their 561s manufactured in China. We would be subject to that tax. So that was something for us. I'm sure that's something that other manufacturers are dealing with. And I think you might see a pivot to some other diodes that come from different countries. The Philippines could be a place. Let's see, where else? I don't know, Bangladesh. I don't know how good they are at reflowing, but yeah, so that's what's up, dude. That's what's going on. So if you were going to be making a move on something, I would probably make it pretty quick, unless it's potentially like a Cree or something. Maybe there's some Cree diodes coming out of, Durham or Raleigh, North Carolina. But even some of Cree stuff gets made in a Chinese factory. So we could just be seeing this across the board. So, yeah, that's what is up. I wonder if this chat will show on the playback. Careful with those UVB bulbs. The wrinkling up is real. You nailed it. Quality matters. The wrinkling up, it's like the top 6 inches of the plant. They just kind of like, it's yeah. You got to be careful, dude. You got to be careful. Anywho, I don't see any red tags. So I think we're gonna call it there, gang-a-lang. I think that was like about an hour. So maybe I can be a little bit more practiced and prepared with the stream software for next time, so I can smoothly transition. My swiper stream machine is it's not working great. I gotta figure that out. I gotta get that integrated. I'm at a little bit of a crossroads, because at the computer here at this YouTube terminal, I have a lot of control and things. When I stream from that other thing where I can dissolve and move into different camera angles and show you guys stuff, I can't see chat. I can't see a lot of things. And that product is called Sling Studio, where devices can connect to it and then it streams. So I just have to do the research and figure out how to integrate the two, so I can have a control panel here for showing you guys web pages, as well as multiple camera views for working and things of that nature. So if you have any requests for topics, video topics, build topics, anything like that, go ahead and leave them in the comments of this video. I will immediately go into the dashboard and make this viewable for people on the playback. Just want to thank everybody. I honestly haven't even checked in with the stream to see how many people are viewing it. 233 people. That's fantastic, man. I used to get 500, but that was 6 months ago when I was actually doing something. So I am absolutely flattered that you guys showed up on a random. What is today? Is it Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. On a random Wednesday, 233 people. That warms my heart. And yes, I'm wearing a V-neck. I just didn't bring any other clothes. I think V-necks, I don't know. No disrespect to V-necks, but I'm not like a hipster. I just would happen to be wearing a V-neck today. And then, but if you are a hipster, no disrespect, but, you might want to stock up on that soy, boy, because that stuff's going up too. Have you seen the soy tariffs from Brazil? Yeah. So you might want to get stocked up on that. Thanks as always, everyone. It feels great to be back in your midst, in your present, in your warm embrace. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.